I'm not certain how long I've waited in vigil over this blade. Time has little meaning in this plane, even less so when you no longer live. Since I struck the blade into the ground, none have come into this sacred place. I had hoped Zariel herself would come one day, but even from here, I could feel her fall, although I don't know how that would be possible. Still, finally the day has come for the blade to be returned to her. I'm so glad Lulu still lives, although I'm filled with great sorrow at what befell her. To have lost her mind to the sticks, and to have wandered so long, alone. What happens next, I don't know. I think my soul shall finally be allowed to ascend and find peace, but what of Zariel? I believe she hid the blade, so there would be a chance that she could be saved. But has too much time passed? Is she even the same being she once was? As I ascend, all I can do is hope. For now my vigil is done. Good luck, bearer of the blade. I feel you will need it. This is Red Moon Role-Playing. Royce, you are once again at the helm of the vehicle, driving along the red, desolate wastes of Avernus, heading to Elturel. You don't exactly know how to get there, of course, but you use logic, going back the way you came, for starters, and you're pretty sure that around here it doesn't matter if you know how to get to somewhere anyway, really. As long as you want to get there and know roughly where it is, so far that seems to do the trick. But obviously, right now, there is some calm in the vehicle. Lothar. You suppose Lothar, for the moment, is a good enough name. Makes everyone else comfortable. Perhaps a little impatient. All this moving around in a vehicle, you really feel like you would just love to spread those wings, unleash your blade, and just smite. For justice, of course. Larissa, what are you feeling?
I think Larissa is a little bit overwhelmed because everything happened so quickly. You know, one minute they were being chased by these horrible creatures, and then they were in this, you know, the inside of this beautiful citadel. And then before everyone knew it, Lothar had pulled this sword, and now he's this strange angelic being, and now we're racing to war. Like, it's all happened very quickly, and it doesn't help that time is so strange here either. And I think she's anxious. She's anxious after that dream she had where Zariel came to her about what happens when they show up with the sword. If they can really redeem her, or if she's only got a little bit of that humanity in her left, and it's just not enough. And there's bits of her that almost want to ask her, but she doesn't want to reach out. She doesn't want to risk losing any element of surprise they might have.
You are driving along. Lulu fiddles with something, and you notice, Lothar, the shield. Lulu collected it. You hadn't really noticed as you were all running to quickly get in the vehicle. Lulu looks at everyone, saying, "Well, I was thinking of leaving it, but I then thought maybe that's actually a bad thing, because it's not a very nice shield, and maybe you shouldn't just leave it somewhere. We have it, though."
We must make sure that what dwells within it is not freed. I am now convinced that, well, it is something malign, something that will harm us and everyone good here, so let us keep it safe and prevent anyone else from releasing its contents.
Yes, in fact, Lothar, it's not even a case of certainty. You can see better than anyone now. There was never an angelic presence. Only the metal itself was celestial. There was only ever one being in the shield, you can see clearly, roiling around. A being of great, devilish evil.
You almost had Lothar fooled.
You hear a voice speak to everyone. chuckling a little. Fooled. Angelic being? How fooled? I never spoke a single lie. I would have given you all the things you wanted. He'd still be here. But now we have you. Wonderful. Don't worry. I know I've lost. I'm going to stay in my shield and watch you all do whatever you want. Maybe I'll get thrown in a pit. Maybe a volcano. Maybe you'll take me all the way back to the High House of Wonders and put me in a vault. I'm looking forward to it immensely.
Better yet, he's in Avernus. We could get him out of that shield and we could kill him and he'd stay dead.
That's right.
That's true. Yes, let's release me then. Yes, to kill me. Sounds like a great idea. Lulu goes, hang on, maybe we don't. We could just leave it in the shield, though, because then it can't actually do anything.
Unless the shield falls into the wrong hands, we're about to go into battle.
This is true. What does the being known as Lothar know about this kind of situation? Is there a way to truly destroy what is inside there? Any way of handling this in a safe way?
Of course, if you release it and kill it in righteous battle, it will die forever. Of course, can you defeat it in righteous battle? That might be the only hesitation there, is that you do need to get to Elturel as quickly as possible, and a great battle might delay you a little.
It would be glorious, but perhaps now is not the time. Now let us keep it in the shield. We shall keep it safe.
Perhaps, if we can convince Zariel to redeem herself, perhaps she would be powerful enough.
I'm certain she would be.
Can I just mention at this point how eager you are to destroy me? The one who has, I don't know, given you constant good advice, while Bel, Lord of Hell, Tiamat, Great Evil Dragon Queen, they're all wonderful people and we love serving them. Hypocrisy much?
Yes, but you schemed to try and get yourself let out, and yeah, you were helpful, but you were scheming. Maybe they were scheming, but we wanted them to be scheming.
Yes. Oh no, I schemed that when you released me, I'd get something from you and give something in return. How awful of me.
We didn't want any more devilish deals, thank you very much.
Of course, I understand. But again, how great and evil I am. You are aware that you are dealing with far more powerful beings than myself.
Yes. And Narissa says that in a very yes, know your place.
You're the least of our worries, buddy, pretty much.
Of course. Well, don't worry. I'll be silent now, thinking on poor Lothar. He deserved better, He had dreams.
You said that last time.
And the shield is silent. You, of course, Lothar, no longer have any attunement to this shield.
No.
Lulu sighs a little, sitting on the shield, and going, "Good, you'll be quiet now. Okay, so what are we going to do now?"
Well, Arkhan is calling forward Tiamat's forces. None of the citizens of Elturel will be harmed by them. They're not interested in them. But we do still have to keep that promise of removing Zariel from power, and if we can't convince her to redeem herself, we'll have to find another way. Otherwise we're in debt to possibly an even more terrible entity.
It's as you're saying this, Larissa, and the car's rumbling around a little, that you do just suddenly notice the papers. The ones you collected from the airship. You still haven't actually looked at them properly.
And Larissa, in not really knowing what else to do, because I don't think anyone really knows what we do now other than show up and see what happens, just kind of grabs at these handfuls of papers that she shoved in a bag and just starts going through them to see if there's anything. She's like, maybe there's something, a hint in here. I don't know. Maybe we can figure something out with these contracts, and just starts rifling through.
You begin rifling through the contracts. Initially, you don't see anything of interest, really. Let's see. This first one, he wanted his brother's wife. Okay. Unpleasant. You read through that contract and feel at least a little happy that you're pretty sure that ended very badly for the individual involved. But okay, nothing interesting. This one wanted all the family fortune. Okay, boring. And then you come across one, which is weird because it's not a contract. It's some sort of infernal script, requisition, trans-dimensional, safe, and then there are some numbers, 57151251471, like quite a few of them, and ready for release.
There's something here. I didn't know that it would... she wants to read further into the script of this to see if she can get a proper handle on what it's talking about, what's to be released.
Yes, you have a read, but to be honest, there's not much there. It's some sort of release order. You don't know what for. You do think... Like, is it like a spell? Have you seen these before? Transdimensional... I think you do remember there was once a story of a wizard some of your friends were going to try and rob, and apparently they said he had a wonderful storage system where some of his things were kept off-plane, summonable back by a spell. If you didn't know the spell, it wouldn't matter if you broke in, you still would not be able to steal these items.
And yeah, she thinks back to that and remembers the job and remembers getting there and the spell not being right and it not working and them not getting what they came for. I've seen one of these before. This is a spell for unlocking stuff kept on other planes. It's a long story. We tried to rob a wizard, but he had everything locked away in one of these and we couldn't crack the spell. Anything could be behind here, and people usually keep things that are very rare, very powerful behind these, so they can't be taken and misused. I could try and open it. There could be something behind there, something useful. A weapon, something, I don't know. I could try and open this. I tried before, but we didn't have the right spell. The code on it was wrong, so nothing happened, but I don't know. If it's here, if it was in that safe area of that floating fortress, then it's got to be something important, right? I mean, if it was just a few hundred gold pieces, they're not going to keep that with them, but this, a release order for this, it's got to have been useful to them.
If it is something that can help us in the battle to come, then perhaps it would be worth doing.
I think the benefits far outweigh the risks. And they wouldn't be keeping a powerful being behind it, I don't think. That would be dangerous, to say the least.
Do not worry. If there's a dangerous being, I shall slay it. Righteously.
She kind of just gives you, like, a moment's look of, like, okay. This is, like, it's still a bit weird for her to, like, Lothar was pretty, just in his own sense, but to hear it so plainly is still a bit of a shock. Royce, what do you think?
I mean, why wouldn't we? Like, any help we can get at the moment seems to make sense.
Would we be able to stop for half an hour while I try to reenact the spell, just in case it is something bad? I'd hate to have something trapped in the vehicle with us.
Sure.
And I guess we stop and Larissa will try and prepare whatever she needs to recite the spell.
Well, as you look at it, you actually think it's very simple. You simply read the numbers.
So I imagine we disembark from the vehicle, just in case there is a horrifying thing behind it. At least we can get in and run away. And holds it out and begins to read the numbers off of this order and waits to see what happens.
You read out the numbers. There's about 20. The scroll flickers suddenly, bursting into flame and then disintegrating in your hand. And then you hear a little pop sound, and before you falls quite a large black metallic box. It pops into existence and falls before you.
Larissa takes her short sword out of its sheath and, using the tip of the blade, flips the box open.
Inside the box are 4 black metallic orbs. Larissa and Lofar, you both interpreted this a little differently, but both of you would come to the same conclusion. The diagram you saw in Bell's Forge, the Great Orb, and there were 4 little orbs that were part of it somehow, and you'll both at this point remember seeing that.
These are... Lothar, you understand these things, or you did? How do we use these?
I do possess those memories still, yes. How would I use that?
Well, structural engineering, are they some sort of... That was a diagram for some sort of construction, wasn't it? You thought the dimensions would be massive. Massive enough maybe to be, oh, I don't know, something the size of a small sun over a city. The diagram suggested they were part of it, going round a circumference round the middle. Do they do something? Why are they here now? Would something happen when they were put back? That you're not entirely sure of, but that's what you're thinking.
Yes, these pieces, they are important for the orb.
Why would they have been removed?
Can I see any reason for that?
That you do not know, because you could not read Infernal. But the companion was a bright orb of good, and then suddenly it wasn't. And now these are here. Is it a reversal process? Is it a opening mechanism? Is it a power source? Maybe they're just spares and nothing, but they're definitely involved somehow. I very strongly feel. The best way would be observation. As in, going towards that orb in the sky. You can fly, you could do that.
Can Larissa try to recall any of the infernal script that she saw that might give us more detail?
You believe it said Solar Insidiator, and you seem to recall there were lines, as if maybe there was an interior to the orb. Is there something to do with that? Does it open it? Close it? Do something? You're both thinking along the lines of, it definitely must do something, and it definitely means something that they're here. Remembering as well, this was in a interdimensional safe, if you will, safely on aboard a ship, quite secure.
Might they be a way of reversing the influence of the orb? Right now it emanates evil, yes? That is what it does down here, right? Yes. Well, if it were to emanate good, then perhaps the city could be saved. It could be lifted out of here.
Yes, if it emanates good, possibly even radiance, that could help keep the city clear of some of the more devilish beings that might be plaguing it.
Indeed, that would come in handy during the upcoming conflict and beyond.
Royce, what are you thinking as these two chatter away about this?
This seems to make sense, but we need to move and act now, surely. I mean, we've just blown up half of Avernus. So let's put this plan into action and get going.
Yes, there's no time like the present. Well, you said that I could potentially go up and look at it. So the orb, it is visible from here, or we have to get closer to the city first?
Oh, you'd have to be much closer. You're still nowhere near Elturel right now.
How big are these orbs?
They are about the size of a hand. They're quite large.
So they're not massive, in which case Larissa will safely pocket them away, wrapped up in her bag.
And you head back into the vehicle, Lulu looking very excited, saying, "Oh, what do you think they do then? Maybe this must be a good thing. All right then, let's get back driving, and we're gonna go and we'll find Zariel. Well, how do you think we're gonna do that? I mean, she'll probably be in the middle of the battle."
She would be at the front of it, wouldn't she?
Yes, I think so. I wonder what those Tiamat people will do. I guess we'll have to see when we get there. All right, let's get going. Come, Lothar.
And I come, I follow.
And you follow, and everyone else gets back in the vehicle, and you begin driving. Time passes. You're really hoping it doesn't take you as long to get back to Elturel as it did to get to where you were, because you think that's been at least 4 or 5 days? Was it a week? You're not sure. But for now, there's no obstacles on the road. You're following the river Styx. Royce, how are you feeling? You're there, driving this vehicle. Despite the source of its power, you're quite experienced now at driving it. You feel in your pocket that one last heavy coin. You have found Tobin. He's still on you.
I'm not entirely sure what the next couple of hours are going to hold for me and my companions. It's all happened so quickly that even though it feels like we've made plans, it's almost just reacting to what's thrown at us, and still not entirely sure how, if at all possible, I will be able to free and redeem Tobin's soul.
It is at least comforting that you did find him. It almost seems like it was an impossibility, and yet you did. One coin you found was his.
Yeah, and the relief knowing that he's not been thrown into the river Styx, or isn't yet a demon or devil or wretched being of this plane, is a small comfort.
Lothar, how are we feeling? You've had some time now to adjust to existing. What's going through your mind now?
Anticipation. We will find Zariel, we will redeem her. We will be all done for the glory of all of the Celestials. And it will be a glorious, righteous battle. And I look forward to fulfilling my role in it and showing what I have become, what I am.
You have a little moment where you remember an excitement. You were going to give some sort of little device to the House of Wonders. What do you think of that little dream now?
It seems so far away. It was important to Lothar. And I suppose that makes it important to who I am now as well, but there's so much more now. So much more important things to be done. A much greater battle that must be waged, and I must be on the front lines of that battle for every day of the rest of my existence now. And I look forward to that. My heart sings with joy at the thought of a glorious battle with the forces of evil.
Larissa, you have those doubts still? There was even a moment there where you said you'd be willing to give up absolutely everything. And you've seen now what's happened to Lothar. How are you feeling?
I think it's in this moment that she realises that she really would have given up everything because there wasn't much to give. You know, she desperately wants Royce to find a way to bring Tobin back. He's got someone important. And Lothar has always had a cause. He's always had something to push for, to fight for. She's always been just fighting for herself. And she's still troubled by this link to Zariel, because on one hand, she doesn't know what will happen if Zariel is redeemed. What that means for her. She doesn't quite understand this connection, and she has so many questions. But she knows that right now she has to try and help her friends. She has to make it through this now. Now she has something to fight for. She has friends who need to get their friends back, and Lothar, whatever he's become, has to make sure that, you know, he doesn't fall to the same evils, because it seems even celestial beings can be corrupted in this place.
Time will pass. No events, just the anticipation of what will come. Does anyone say anything to each other? This may be your last chance.
Guys, I know we've kind of come together through unfortunate circumstances, but regardless of what happens, just thank you for your help.
Thank you.
You too.
Lothar cared deeply for both of you, and for you, Lulu. He wanted you to be safe, and to get through this alive and well, and to get the things that you were looking for. And him feeling that means that I am feeling that. And I will do my very best to make sure that very thing happens. You can rely upon me.
Well, you know, Royce, if it wasn't for you, I never would have got into the city of Baldur's Gate in the first place. So, thank you. It all seems so insignificant now, working towards trying to get in with one of the guilds there, and now I'm in hell. But I couldn't think of two better people to be in hell with.
Thank you. I guess that's true. I hadn't really planned on ever visiting hell, but I couldn't have wished for two better partners.
I always figured I'd end up here somehow. It's a shame that all of you had to end up here too.
And Lothar, or whoever you are now, I'm sure we'll be able to get you back to the Temple of Wonders and Gond.
Oh, I'm sure I will visit there someday. But for now, a great battle awaits, and I look forward to that. Lothar, I think, looks forward to that as well.
Lulu does make a little sound and say, I'm sure Lothar would, because he's not gone. I know that. That's not how it works. He knows what's happening. I'm sure he'd be happy. I wish it hadn't had to be so extreme, though. I'm sorry. I would have... If I'd remembered, I would have said.
It wouldn't have made a difference, Lulu. Lothar always had a good sense of justice. He would have done it whether he knew or not, for sure. And Royce, when this is over, because it will at some point be over, we're going to get Tobin back somehow, or at least find a better resting place for his soul.
Lulu nods and goes, yes, we definitely will, and I remember everything now. When we get there, I can turn to my real form, and I can get you all places and be a little more useful.
Your real form? What are you?
Well, I'm a Holophant, but we're not always little. How do you think Zariel rode me at this size?
Yeah, the vision, remember? Lulu was huge.
I had forgotten about that.
That's okay, Lothar. I've forgotten about it too.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, guys. I think getting to say that you've ridden a Holophant is probably a pretty cool thing. No offence, Lulu.
No, I think it's going to be really cool too. And I'm really grateful for all of you. You've all been the best of friends. You helped me. I can't believe I spent 100 years wandering around, though. I really shouldn't have fallen in the River Styx. That was very silly of me.
Yeah, please try to avoid ever doing that again in the future, Lulu, because I know we all kind of maybe had our doubts about what you would be like when this started, but you're pretty awesome. So if you could avoid, you know, all the bad stuff, that'd be great.
I'll do my best. And don't you worry, the silly shield and everyone else. It's going to be easy. We're going to just go to Zariel and she will take her sword and sort out everything.
I don't know if it'll be that easy, Lulu. She came to me in a dream and she wanted to be rid of that sword. She didn't seem like she wanted redemption. She thought she was doing the same work she'd always done here.
Well, I know, but we're going to tell her.
I agree with Lulu. Surely, if nothing else, we've realised that no one has passed redemption in this place.
Everyone deserves a chance to be saved.
You do, Lothar, feel just a moment of a little simmer from that shield at that comment, but there is nothing else. And you drive on. Eventually, you do see in the distance, Royce, to your amazement, you think you can see, is that the city of Elturel? Wait, no, because it would be far higher, wouldn't it? Ooh, strange. You find yourself coming to a bit of a cliff. Suddenly, you think you'll be able to drive down it, but for the moment you suddenly are elevated quite high up. And you can see far in the distance the great battle. But the city of Elturel, you weren't wrong. It's much lower now, Royce. The city of Elturel, from this distance you can see, looks like it is almost just above the great river Styx now. Not quite there yet, but no longer towering miles in the air. You can see on all sides the forces of, you assume, the devils and the demons, massing into each other. Battle has already begun, and those great flying fortresses on one side. What do you do? It maybe is another hour away, but the battle has begun.
So looking on the battlefield, Royce is trying to almost plan a route, a way in that'll avoid any unnecessary issues or combat, to see if we can get as close to Zariel as possible.
Where is Zariel is the question. Lulu kind of pops over your head. Okay, where would Zariel be? Oh, maybe... She points her trunk. Maybe that big one. She points to what seems to be one of the larger flying fortresses currently at the front of all the others.
Can we get there? Can we go straight to it?
Maybe. Lothar, you're thinking, you could fly. Maybe Lulu can help, but assaulting the flying fortress itself will certainly be a great battle. That would be wonderful, but would it be safe for them? But then again, where are your allies? They aren't here yet. That could affect things. Larissa, you do still have the ring, which you can use at any time to speak to a certain Dragonborn.
Larissa is also wondering, she's like, Zariel wanted me to join her. I'm wondering if perhaps I could get inside without having to fight. The rest of you might have to fight your way in, but I'd be on the inside. We could attack from 2 points.
That would be tactically advantageous.
Or maybe we could just be let in. Maybe the fight would be to get out rather than in. Either way, we have Tiamat's forces. I mean, they're a force of dragons. They must have something, wyverns, dragons, something with wings, right?
You, as you're speaking, hear a sudden voice in your mind, coming through the ring. So, are you anywhere near yet? You'd better be. We are ready to move.
We're looking at Elturel. We're maybe an hour's travel out. I don't know how time works in this place still. I think we found the fortress that we want to go for, where Zariel is, so we can vanquish or redeem her, whichever removes her from power. The problem is getting there. Only one of us are capable of flight.
Where do you think Zariel is right now?
And Larissa will describe this floating fortress that we're all looking at.
Well, if that's where she is, why fly to her when you could bring it down to you?
How do we do that?
You do nothing. We shall do that. We shall bring down the great vessel. You will then go and claim your prize.
Then bring it down and we'll make our way.
Very well then. We attack now. Be on the move. Quickly. This should be most interesting. The voice cuts out. Royce, you look around a little. You can hear the din of battle, the demons, the devils. And then you look to your left. Can you see something coming from the left? The answer is yes. The sky is... There's something in the sky. A cloud. A cloud made of beings flying through the air. You look to the ground and you see vehicles. 4 or 5 bigger, larger vehicles than your own, armed with cranes and spikes and multiple harpoon guns. They look very impressive, driving towards the flank of one of the sides. The devil's side, you think? And then you all see and hear the mighty roaring of great beasts, as from the left you see dragons. Have you ever, any of you, seen an adult dragon before?
Nope.
No.
I do not believe so, unless this being that I have turned into has somehow inherited some memories.
No, Lofart is strange. You have no memories of anything other than the ones you're now literally just having. The only memories you have are of that other person. This is all brand new to you.
Interesting.
And yes, on the horizon, 1, 2, 5. 5 adult dragons. 1 black, 1 white, 1 red, 1 green, 1 blue. At the distance, flying in unison towards these great flying fortresses and the armies. They're going to collide very soon. What are you doing?
We need to go. They're going to bring down the fortress for us. That's what Arkan said, but we need to be there when they do. God, have you ever seen dragons? I've seen drawings and heard stories, but I didn't know they were so big.
They are massive indeed. Must be quite capable in combat. I wouldn't mind testing my strength against such a being at some point, although it might be too much even for me and this sword to handle.
Right now they're our allies, so let's hope that we can get Zariel to redeem herself, because if we don't remove her from power, we'll have those to contend with.
Well, if that were to come to pass, then I would have that opportunity to test my strength against them. But yes, let us make sure that does not happen.
Royce, you're the one in control of the vehicle.
So what are we doing, guys? Are we just following our allies?
We head straight to there. They're going to bring down that floating fortress, and then we can get into it.
Yes, straight into glorious battle.
And I turn the war machine to where I kind of expect the floating city to be, or fortress to be pulled down to.
You turn on the throttle and begin driving. Roll me a dexterity acrobatics check, as you are trying, I imagine, to get there quickly.
I am indeed. So with a +5, I rolled a 12 total.
You begin driving down the cliff, trying your very best to keep to the road. At one point, you really feel you could just drive off. You could land it. That would save time, but you kind of then feel the vehicle lurch a bit and go, no, don't be a moron. Get to the bottom. And you do. And you swerve and begin heading straight forwards. You can all, through slits, hear the sound of battle approaching. This is beyond number, especially now you're on the ground level. The forces approaching of dragons are immense, but the forces of the devils and demons are immense as well. This is a battle with tens of thousands of combatants. You feel, if you make a wrong turn, Royce, you will drive into a war zone, possibly run over quite a few beings, but then the vehicle will be overwhelmed, so you are trying to keep to the outskirts, I imagine, yes?
Yeah, 100% want to kind of avoid the main melee and just clutter of the battlefield.
Indeed. You see the vehicles crash into some of the devil forces. Battle beginning, you see upon one of them a familiar figure rise from the top, begin shooting bolts of green lightning from his hands, and can you see that necromancer and that minotaur? Yes, they are having a battle of their own, but that is not your concern. You are heading towards this great fortress. You see 3 of the dragons descend upon the fortress itself, breathing bolts of strange fire. The red dragon breathes normal fire, but the other ones, their fire is all of a different nature. Ice fire, poison fire, abyssal fire. It's all happening very quickly. There is a great crash as that fine flying fortress begins to descend to the ground, although you do notice from some of the others hundreds of flying figures emerging from everywhere to attack the dragons. One dragon, the black one, descends into the battlefield, scouring it with black flame, sending many creatures, perhaps to their final deaths. You're not sure. You're getting closer, Royce. You are on the outskirts still, but above you, flying thousands of flying creatures. You see now that cloud. That cloud was of those strange devil dragon-like beings. They are not as impressive as the dragons, but there still must be at least 2,000 of them. How is everyone feeling as the vehicle shakes with battle happening all around you?
I think Larissa has now just on this drive down, I imagine it's been very quiet as we've all been focusing in. So she's preparing, she's checking her weapons, she's adjusting her armour, and she's almost waiting by the doors of this vehicle to get out. It's that the adrenaline is going and she's just anxious to get into this, to either do what they came here to do or die trying.
And Lothar is filled with anticipation. Finally it is time.
Lulu seems a little nervous, but ready. And Royce, how does it feel to be the one controlling the vehicle as the scale of this battle unfolds around you? Dragons overhead, destroying flying fortresses, other vehicles crashing into demons and devils, and now you are this close. There are many devils, not just the ones you've seen, but ones far larger, and many other vehicles and siege engines. How's it feel?
So as the whole battlefield kind of unfurls in front of me, I after days of driving this machine, I'm just almost on autopilot, driving to where we're planning to board this flying fortress, and kind of slowly the realization of the task at hand kind of creeps up, a nervousness of how will this end. I just take a moment to steel myself and just realize, look, this is what needs to be done, and so be it. Whatever happens, happens.
Roll me a dexterity acrobatics check as you see the great fortress beginning to descend. The pure weight of the dragons dragging it down to the ground, but if you keep at the same speed you're going at, you will crash completely into the crashing ship itself. Maybe you want to brake.
Okay, so that's a plus, and we're plus 9, that's 22.
You pull the lever on your vehicle, it screeches, the wheels sort of grinding into the earth as you suddenly feel a great shockwave. It could have overturned the vehicle, but you somehow manage to spin the vehicle and keep balance, and you're still moving, just a little slower, as the great airship seems to have crashed into the ground, sending chaos everywhere in the aftershock. The scale of the battle is so immense, though, that even though perhaps hundreds of devils just died, there are still thousands more. There's a moment of dust in the air, and you keep driving towards now this half-wrecked construction as dragons fly overhead, and the battle is all around you. You will soon be at the fortress. You will soon be facing Zariel.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Role-Playing, where we played the campaign Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We were joined by Virginia Page, who is Tabletop Horde on Twitter, and Owen Fáilbhe from the How We Roll podcast. We would like to extend our thanks to our friends at Wizards of the Coast for all their support in getting us the material early, and for helping more people discover our show. The music was made by Halgrath, Aegis Sonus, Atrium Carceri, and Herbs9, and was used with permission from their label Cryo Chamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody, dark ambient. We also used the soundtrack to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 by Michael Honig, and to Planescape Torment by Mark Morgan, and permission for this was given by the awesome people at Beamdog. Check out these enhanced editions of those classic games for some of the best D&D adventures ever created. We would like to give a massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia, Raulerson, Simon Cooper, and David for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult, Divinity Lost, and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, and we are proud to say that we've had some excellent exclusive play sessions with our top supporters. All of your lovely support is what keeps the show going, so please do check us out and consider if you want to be one of our patrons. Thank you again for listening, and see you soon.